Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna. This is 4 Paws in a Book. I make book and lifestyle related content, so if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Today we are going to start a new project where I read the books on my shelves. A novel concept, I know. We're going to read the books on my shelves. But I had to make it fun. I had to make it interesting. So we are starting the Rainbow Project. This is heavily inspired by the Alphabet Project that Michelle over at Michelle's Library does. She's been doing this for at least a year, if I remember correctly. Basically where she picks books from her shelves. Like the whole video will be A and then B. This is heavily inspired by it. But we're doing colors. So today is red. I'm going to be picking 5 books for each of these videos, and we're going to try to do one a month. I am not guaranteeing that, but we're going to try to do one a month, and all of the books will all be red. It'll make really cool Instagram pictures. It'll look good. I'm an aesthetic gal. It made sense to me, okay? I got very excited about this project once I figured it out. So let's talk about the books that I'm going to be reading for this. I tried to pick a variety of genres. Unfortunately, they didn't work that well. I don't have any unread romances that are red, which feels weird, but it is what it is. So we have some thrillers. There's a lot of thrillers in that red color scheme. That's a very popular color, at least it was last year. I have some fantasy in here. We're just going to talk about it, okay? The first one is The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the 3rd book in the Inheritance Games trilogy. I really liked the first book. I really didn't like the second book, so I'm really hoping that the 3rd one kind of comes around and does something. This series is about a girl who becomes a recipient of like $46 billion or something like that. Like the richest man in Texas or something like that. The only problem is she's never met the guy. He's very into puzzles, things like that. And so she goes out to the estate. They're trying to figure out how she fits into everything. And yeah, I'm really hoping I'm gonna like this. I've heard mixed reviews about this 3rd book, but I just want to say that I've completed the series. It's a very red book. Then we've got a couple of thrillers. Like I said, red was a big color this year. We have The Last Party by Claire McIntosh. At midnight, one of them is dead. By morning, all of them are suspects. This is about a group of people who come to this little like beach house, lake house. I can't remember. Anyway, it's a house full of guests on New Year's Eve. Someone ends up dead, and it's kind of like everyone has a reason to be a suspect. Very Agatha Christie-esque, I think. And we got to figure out who did it. And I'm here for that. That's like my kind of mystery. This is a book that I actually didn't purchase. I accidentally got it in Book of the Month. They sent me the wrong book. So it was a free book for me, and I'm gonna read it. I just realized that this and this are just the opposite covers. Like color scheme wise. Not actually what it is, but like it is a very similar cover. Okay, but our next book is going to be The Collective by Allison Galen. No killer goes unpunished. This is about a group of women who I think like seek revenge on serial killers or like injustices, that kind of thing. It should be a good time. All right, and then a couple of not in this world type of books. We have Hench by Natalie Zena Walscott. I've had this book for a couple of years now, I think, and I just never picked it up. It's a very red book, so I figured this is a perfect book for this project. This is a book about a woman who is like an assistant or a secretary or something for villains. The tagline for this says, "A young woman discovers the greatest superpower, for good or ill, is a properly executed spreadsheet." And I could not relate to that more. I love a good Excel spreadsheet. So I feel like I'm gonna love this. We shall see though. Lastly, a book that I've been putting off for way too long, literally have pushed back my hold on my audiobook for months, and that is The Ruin of Kings by Jen Lyons. This is a very red book. This is the first book in the Ruin of Kings series. I own all 4 of the 5 of them. I should probably see if I like them. The writing in this sounds really funny. There are footnotes, which I do love a good footnote. But even just reading the back of this book, it says, practically a prisoner, Kieran discovers that being a long-lost prince is nothing like what the storybooks promise. The storybooks have lied about a lot of other things too. Dragons, demons, gods, prophecies, true love, and how the hero always wins. I feel like I could probably get behind that like sarcastic humor, and I think I'm gonna like this book, but we'll see. So those are the books that I'm gonna be reading. Let's get into the vlog portion of this video. Good morning. Pardon the no makeup look, but it's a lazy Saturday for me, and I'm just vibing. I'm reading. I'm listening to the audiobook of The Collective. This is my first book for this Rainbow project, and I am enjoying it quite a bit. I thought it was going to be more like feminism and like trying to like, you know, get men, but really it's just about like justice and revenge for rich men specifically, and just like trying to right the wrongs of their, like, the mothers trying to right the wrongs of their children that had been killed. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. But essentially this woman, the book starts out at this event and she calls someone out as a murderer, and then you kind of start finding out more and more what's going on. 5 years ago, she lost her daughter at a college party, and like she said that this guy raped and then left her for dead. And it's one of those very psychological thrillers, which are definitely like my cup of tea, my brand. I'm having a really good time with this. So yeah, I'm about halfway through, and I would love to be able to finish this today. That would be fantastic. Okay, so I'm sitting here editing this video, and I'm realizing that I never filmed a final clip for The Collective. And I will say that it was my first 5-star book of the year. I'm very excited that I really enjoyed this. And I'm really glad that I picked it up for this project, because it's probably a book that would have sat on my shelf for a really long time, and I wouldn't have picked it up. That's generally what happens with thrillers. Like, I always like them when I pick them up, but they're just not ones that I tend to gravitate towards. And so they sit on my shelf for a while. So I'm really glad that I finally picked this one up. I have not posted a review on this on Goodreads. I haven't really talked about it on my channel. It is a William Morrow publishing, which is a HarperCollins like imprint, and so technically they're still on strike as of filming this. So they are like at the table though, so like there is hope that it's gonna happen sooner rather than later. But as of right now, I don't have an actual review of this one, but I really did like it. So hopefully when I get to do my wrap up, hopefully next week, I'll actually get to be able to talk about this book. So you will see me back here at the end of this video, because I'm gonna do my outro in the same spot. But for you, it'll be a bit. For me, it's gonna be just a second. Hello, I thought I would catch you guys up. It's been a few days. I'm just now getting back into this vlog, so not wearing red today, but that's okay. I wanted to catch up because I started my next book in this series, and that was The Last Party by Claire McIntosh, and then promptly DNF'd it. I think I made it like 16% of the way in, and just not having a good time. This book is rich white people problems on steroids. It is about all these people that live in this very swanky type subdivision or like gated community, and then there's a murder, and like everyone is a suspect. So it's very Agatha Christie, but make it less interesting. Not that Agatha Christie is always that interesting, but this one specifically is not. And unfortunately, like, I didn't care. I was finding myself, like, just zoning out, not listening. I couldn't tell the difference between any of the characters, and this is a large cast of characters. So I do think if you liked Agatha Christie, if you like Lucy Foley, this might be a book that, like, you would be interested in, but unfortunately, I'm just gonna DNF it. That's the whole point of this process, is to, like, read books that are on my TBR, physical TBR, and if I'm not enjoying them, I'm gonna DNF them. Like, that's how this series is working. There are some video series that I do on my channel where I don't want to DNF a book. Like, I want to read this book for, like, its entirety for one reason or another. This series specifically is not that. If I am not enjoying a book, we're gonna DNF it. So that's what we're doing here. I don't feel bad because this isn't a book that I actually picked out myself, because this was the one that, like, Book of the Month accidentally sent me. So I don't feel too bad that I am DNFing this, but it's gonna go on Pango. If you're watching this, it might still be there. So then I picked up Hench, because I had the audiobook for this and I needed something to do today, and this is quite interesting so far. I got, like, maybe 10% into it. But the dialogue is very funny. The main character, like, you're in her head, and she's just very relatable, very interesting. So I don't have a whole lot of thoughts on this one quite yet, but I am very intrigued. We'll put it that way. So I will talk to you when I get a little farther into this. Hello, everybody. It is a couple days later. I am about 50% of the way through Hench, and so far it's fine. Like, there's moments of brilliance in it, but I think the best way to compare this book, or the best way to describe this book, is the Renegade series, but make it millennial. Because, like, she definitely, like, she's working as a temp, like, she's working in this, like, organization, and, like, I don't know, it has all these Renegades vibes, but then, like, she's an adult. So that makes, but yeah, it's definitely a villain origin story. There's moments of brilliance, but then there's a lot going on. There's a lot of action scenes, and that's pulling me out of, like, developing something for the character. And so it's a middle of the road book right now, unfortunately, but I am going to finish it today, so I'll talk to you later tonight. We're going to film this update, but you're probably going to hear planes because they're doing drills, and I live just off of a Air Force base. But I need to touch base with you with a couple of things. I finished Hench. This is the most meh book that I have read in a very long time. It was fine. I gave it 3 stars, but I don't think it did anything special. I got very bored towards the end. And I think it's one of those things that if you go into this book really wanting a superhero book and wanting a lot of action, you actually might enjoy it. But for me, I think it was too much. There was so much going on in this book that it really detracted from the story, from the characters. It was just like fight after fight after fight, and then, like, revenge and, like, plotting for the next fight. And it was just so much action that I never could get into it, right? So, like, at the beginning I was interested. Like, she was kind of like this millennial down on her luck, and, she's just struggling at a temp job, and it made a lot of sense, right? And then the more we got into it, the less I liked it. So 3 stars. It's on Pango. We're putting it on Pango. So unfortunately, the middle 2 books have been a little bit of a miss, but we are on to Ruin of Kings by Jen Lyons. I'm about 30% of the way into this, and I am having the time of my life. I am loving this book. Sorry, there's a really bad glare. It's a shiny cover, ring light, The book is so sarcastic, so funny. Kieran is just really funny, very dry sense of humor. And then there's also, like, footnotes throughout. And I'm listening to it on audiobook, and there's a separate narrator for the footnotes, which makes it really great because when it's a footnote. And they are sassy. Like, they're so good. There's this one time where she was like, he had never met da-da-da-da-da. And the footnote's like, I highly doubt that. And it's hilarious. So, having a great time reading this. It's a very, very long audiobook. I've, like, literally been focusing on it all day, and I'm 160 pages into it. So we're going to be really trying to work on this today and tomorrow. Maybe try to finish it by tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. And then we'll just have one more book left. Hi, hello, I have an update for you. I finished The Ruin of Kings by Jen Lyons, and I really, really enjoyed this. I ended up giving it 4 stars. It wasn't perfect. I do think that a lot happened in this book. And I'm curious to see how it goes on, because, like, normally a first book in a series is really just, like, setting things up, and then it's, like, the second and third books in the series is when, like, all hell breaks loose. But no, all hell broke loose quite literally in this book. I absolutely loved the, like, sarcasm in this book. I love the witty banter. I love the characters. I love the footnotes. The footnotes are great. They're snarky. But this book really felt like you're going along, you know exactly what's happening, and then the cat jumps on the table and knocks the puzzle off. And you have to figure out where all the pieces are, how they all fit back together, and it's just chaos. That's what this book felt like to me. So yes, I will be continuing on with the series. I do have the first 4 in the series, so I will be continuing them. Probably not until, like, March or April though. So yeah. So now let's talk about the last book in this series of red books that I'm reading for the Rainbow Project. That's the Final Gambit. I'm about 100 pages into this, and I am now realizing that I should not have waited 10 months to go from this book, or from the Hawthorne Legacy, that's the second book, the Hawthorne Legacy, to this one, because it's taking me a long time to remember who certain characters are. Some of them I do definitely remember, but then there are some side characters that came in the second book that I'm just like, who are you and how are you related to this like massive little like chart that's going on? There's a lot of characters in this book. We're also like heavily leaning into the fact that this is a YA book. There's like some just really dumb things that are happening, and like just, I don't know, some just character relationships and things that are happening. I'm like, oh my God, you are a teenager. You're a teenager trying to act like not a teenager, but you're definitely a teenager. Well, I mean, which is fine. Again, like that, this is a YA thriller. Or a mystery, technically. So like, I get it, it's definitely for the age group, but for me, I'm getting lost and I'm not really giving a crap about the characters. So right now it's like a middle of the road book. I am very invested though in how the story is going to end and how all of the pieces kind of go together. So I'm hopeful. I would really love to finish this book today. We'll see what happens though. Hello everybody, I would like to come to you because I've finally finished the last book of this project. I don't know, maybe 5 books for one video project was too much. This was a bit of a project. It was a good project, but I did finish the Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I'm giving it 3 stars. It was very fine, but at no point in the book did I forget that it was YA. Like the characters are really trying to like do adult things and, you know, act all mature, but then like that love triangle that was prominent in the second book was really prominent in this one too. And I hate a love triangle when it's a romance, when like the whole point of the book is characters getting together. I really hate it when it doesn't need to be there. Like, not every book needs a romance. Even YA, not every book needs a romance. So that's my big problem with this book, honestly, if I had to be honest. But yeah, I gave it 3 stars. I'm glad I finished the series. I'm glad that that's over now. I'm not sure if I'll unhaul that one or not. We'll see. So let's do an overview. I think some of these went really well and some of them did not go so well. I guess technically it wasn't even 5 books because I DNF'd one. So I had a 5-star read, which was fantastic. And then I had a 4-star read in Rune of Kings, and a book that that kind of solidified that I do want to continue on with that series. So that's great. It did what it was supposed to do, or this video did what it was supposed to do in that matter. However, I did DNF The Last Party very early on. I just really did not care about it. And then I gave Hench and The Final Gambit 3 stars. The Final Gambit, like, I'm glad that I finished the book. It had been sitting on my shelf for so long because of how disappointing the Hawthorne Legacy had been. I just didn't want to pick up the last book in the series. But one of my goals for this year is to complete more series. And so it's done that. I've done that. And so this video kind of made me do that. So great, good job. And Hench was a standalone. It fits in our fantasy bingo board prompt. That's great. There's that. I don't really know. Other than that, we're gonna continue on with this. If for nothing else, for no other reason, then these thumbnails are gonna look amazing, especially when I put them all together in a playlist. I'm nothing if not an aesthetics girly. Not that I've worn a red shirt at all, other than in the first clip, but that's fine. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts if you have any, if you've liked any of these books. And I'll talk to you down in the comments below. If you don't have anything to say, if you don't have anything chatty, just put some sort of red emoji. It can be the red stop sign, a red square, a big X, fire truck, whatever, some sort of red emoji. That is all I have for you today. If you are new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little red button that you can do so down below the video. If you'd like to hang out with me more, the links to my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, and my Patreon are linked in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.